we're still keeping an eye on what's going on with Dorian in the Atlantic Ocean. It's still right over the northern Bahama Islands right now, and it's moving very slowly, only at 1 mile per hour. So there's places that are going to be in the northern Bahama Islands that have been in the eye wall for 9 hours so far, and that's going to be lasting even longer as we get into the rest of the day. So yes, right now still Category 5 storm, which is going to be one of the stronger ones we've seen develop all year. In fact, it is the strongest one we've seen all year. This is going to be actually the 4th year in a row that we've seen a Category 5 storm come up, the first time since we started recording these in 1851. And overall, this is going to be really staying put over the next day or so. But if you look at the track, it should begin to pick up a little bit more speed as it moves closer towards the U.S. Looks like the winds are really going to help it out. And overall, as far as a U.S. landfall, it can't be completely ruled on out, but I personally think it looks unlikely. It's going to get very close to the coast, especially around Cape Canaveral, Daytona Beach. That is where I think the worst impact is going to be for the U.S., at least for Florida. Now, if you get closer towards North and South Carolina, this is when I begin to think a U.S. landfall is a little bit more likely, especially closer towards a spot like Kill Devil Hills. Those little islands that stick out in front of North Carolina is going to be the most likely spot for the eye to land. Now, keep in mind, that's just for the center of the storm. There's still going to be places like Fort Lauderdale, places like West Palm, Stewart, Fort Pierce that are still going to be seeing winds over 100 miles per hour because it's just going to be so close to the coast. And eventually it is going to be turned down to a Category 1 storm by Saturday. But right now it's Monday, so that's a very long time for it to be a major hurricane. And I don't even think it's going to die down to a Category 2 until it passes by Savannah. So Savannah is going to see some impacts. I just think the worst of that storm is obviously going to be staying over towards the east, because whenever you look at a hurricane, the worst part of it's going to be the northeastern portion and the southeastern portion, followed by the northwestern portion, which a lot of it is going to be passing by areas like Florida here over the next few days. The models are pretty consistent. There's only going to be one that's a little bit squirrely and going into a place like Tampa. That one I think is very unlikely. But of course, if you follow along with the radar right here, you do see that it is going to begin to move a little bit quicker as we get into later this evening, maybe closer to 5 miles per hour before it really begins to speed on up as we get into Tuesday. And eventually, I think it's going to pick up a lot more speed as we eventually get into Wednesday afternoon. And then after that, it should pick up even more as you get closer towards the Carolinas.